So
Yes.
our chief guest for the graduation, Dr. Julia Skipngetich. Our board members present from Women on Boards Network, as well as the founders. Our honorable graduates who are here this afternoon, the Women on Boards Secretariat. I wish to welcome you to the graduation today and just wish you all the best as we go through the program today. And thank you for joining us. For us at Women on Boards, this is a great day because it really tallies very well with our mission to build capacity for women who are hoping to join the leadership of various organizations. Now, since the founding of the Women on Boards Network, we have had several graduations, but this one is very special because we have had a special cohort of very engaged and very up-to-date students or class that really gives us a lot of that. As we churn them out into the corporate world, they will create great impacts and they will be great leaders. Now, really the Women on Boards was created to promote and to provide facilities for women who want to enhance their corporate governance journey. And therefore we provide several things at the Women on Boards. Number one, we provide a product called training or capacity building, such as we have had today or this whole week that we are celebrating today. We also have regular monthly board talks where we talk about our experiences in the board, and we invite persons who have had great leadership journeys or even who have made mistakes in their leadership journey to come and talk to us so that we get to do better than they have done. We also, on a regular basis, hold our annual conferences where we talk about the year that is past and the year that we look forward to, and see what great things have happened in the life of corporate governance and in the lives of the various leaders who attend at that time. We also have various courses that we run throughout the year in conjunction with partners, both here in Kenya and outside Kenya, which are sometimes accompanied or added to a mentorship part where we mentor one-on-one people who are willing and ready to be great leaders. And so therefore, dear graduates, you have really done a great thing at the beginning of this year, 2022, by enrolling yourself in a training such as this, which we hope has given you great skills and has given you exposure to what's happening in the life of leaders and also in the lives of organizations where corporate governance is practiced. Of importance, we invite you to join the Women on Boards Network and take part in all those activities that I have listed, including also a very special product which we call the coteries, where we break ourselves into smaller groups and we tell ourselves, go ye out into the world and do in there what you have learned at the Women on Boards Network. We also thought that it's important for us to begin the journey much earlier than many of us began. And so we have a junior membership arm where we nurture young leaders in school, in universities, so that when they get to be in the working space, they already know what leadership is all about. Presented in this slide are the members of the board of Women on Boards Network. You can see our chairperson there at the center. That is Catherine Musakali, Judy Sidi, one of our board members, Reverend Jenga is also a board member, Faith Ngatha, Calvin Nyachoti, and Nkirote Moria. And of course, yours faithfully, Rose Lumumba is also there. So this is the team that steers the Women on Board. We've been talking about the board. So we practice what we have been telling you this whole week at this board during our board meetings and in our leadership journey. If you can. So Hannah, can you hear me? Next slide, yes. And so this week you had several facilitators who took you through the training. I am sure they trained themselves, they introduced themselves at the beginning of the training. And so I will not go through all their accolades. They are listed there before you. There is Catherine, there is Rose Lumumba, there is, wow, my slide is blurred. So there is Calvin Yachoti, thank you. All people who have had various steps in the leadership journey. We also had FCS Kirote Moria Njiru. We had FCS Pius Nduati, and Reverend Dufresne Njenga. And I think that was all that we had in terms of facilitators. We hope that whatever they spoke about and whatever you learned this week applied in your lives. And please, if you don't do anything, we just ask you to apply that very one thing that you learned, only one. And if you do, your life will change somewhat. So welcome once again to this graduation ceremony. Congratulations on doing so well this week. I met you, dear graduates, this week, I think twice, and I know that you were a fantastic class, much more really exposed than many of us are. So thank you very much, and congratulations and welcome to the graduation ceremony.
Thank you, Rose, for the opening remarks. I will now go straight to the next item on the graduation program, and that is the introduction of the class that we had, and we'll have Anne Guy that take us through that. Anne, you're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Hannah. I'm very excited today to be graduating from this corporate governance training, and I'm also very honored to be introducing the fellow women who we took this journey to just make sure that we are board ready and that we add value in the boards that we are able to serve. So I'll go in and just introduce each one of the ladies and just say a little bit about their journey as they go into this leadership journey. All right, so the first graduate is Magdalene Induli. Magdalene is a medical doctor currently serving as a medical advisor in Novartis East Africa cluster with experience in developing and implementing medical affairs strategies and plans to enhance patient access to medicine within the Novartis portfolio. She's a stakeholder relationship builder with successful record in cultivating and managing relations with specialties, physicians, and key option leaders, and training healthcare professionals and sales teams on product use and key account management. Effective in driving patient engagement activities, including patient education sessions.
Okay. So Nyangate Mahulo, hope I've pronounced her name properly. She founded Midas Development Limited years ago, and her company has implemented construction projects worth $75 million in the industrial, commercial, hospitality, and retail sectors in Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda. Previously, she was the acting chief underwriting officer at the African Trade Insurance Agency, where she managed the underwriting department that covered political and credit risks in 9 African countries. Her career started in Standard Chartered and Barclays Bank, where she managed a team that issued the first debit card. So our next graduate is Joyce Ngugi. Joyce is a strategic leader with over 25 years of experience in the management and leadership of international organizations in the NGO sector. A seasoned professional with extensive experience in organizational leadership, strategic operations, people, and change management. Joyce is the Director, Finance and Operations for the Nature Conservancy in Africa and currently sits on 2 boards. Recently, she was honored with the 10 Most Admired Women Leaders 2021 award from Women Industry Era Leaders that recognizes leading visionary women leaders. Next slide, please. Dr. Esther Njoroge Murithi, Senior Vice President, global medical programs at Smile Train, a strategic top 40 under 40 woman business daily 2016 awardee, poised for regional and C-level executive and board roles within development, healthcare, and policy settings. Influential strategist with 13 plus years of experience implementing health programs in Africa, she has established a reputation for innovation, curating programs, establishing partners and stakeholder relations with governments, INGOs, NGOs, and private sector organizations towards achieving broader organizational strategy. She serves on the board of Health NGOs Network and previously on the advisory board of Civil Society Engagement Mechanism for UNHC 2030 and Rotary Club of Nairobi Langata. Next, Lilian Mckenzie, currently the marketing manager for East and Horn of Africa for Nestle, a seasoned marketer with close to 20 years marketing exposure in different fast-moving consumer goods company. She has comprehensive skills in strategy, financial analysis, planning, implementation, and reporting. Major achievements are at Nestle, she spearheaded the development of e-commerce sales channel in the verge of the impact of COVID-19. In other FMCGs, she led teams in launch of new products and social mission programs that influence change of consumer behavior for good. Then we have Anne Gaither. Anne is an international trade and investment expert, focusing on international trade, investment banking, and investment management in Africa and with Africa. Anne is also a wealth of business coach for African leaders and influencers. She's an executive board level leader with over 20 years of professional experience, with 17 years cumulative experience in the financial service industry and global trade. Anne is the former executive director of the Organization of Women in International Trade, Nairobi Charter, and is currently the CEO of the Regal Africa Group. Regal Africa is a firm focused on promoting more trade and investments in Africa to ensure Africa economic development. Next slide, please. We have Helen Gulley. Ms. Gulley is currently a senior consultant at Exceptional Skills and Talent Consulting, a management trainee and consultancy firm. She has over 30 years of work experience in diverse fields, 24 years in a leading motor company in Kenya in areas sales, marketing, and customer service. Has postgraduate training and qualifications in business administration, among others. Has great focus in customer centricity and excellence, and has trained and mentored many. She encourages integrity and honesty and seeks new responsibilities irrespective of recognition or reward. Besides work, she loves nature and tree planting and welcomes any opportunity for the outdoors. Sidi Katembo, business analyst, executive support expert with over 13 years broad-ranging experience. Yes?
I would like to interject. Kindly request that maybe you just read only the first few lines because our guest of honor may have to rush and we need him to speak to us before he leaves.
All right, so CD is the business analyst, executive support expert with over 13 years broad-ranging experience in banking, including business operations, analysis and management reporting, business strategy planning, and board operations support. Then we have Rebecca Njuki, an international social, environmental, and health specialist with 15 plus years of experience. She provides technical guidance to clients, investments, and advisory teams on environmental and social risk management, environmental and social appraisal of projects, assessments, guide the formulation of appropriate mitigation measures, and monitors their implementation. Caroline Mugadi is an independent consultant in the financial market. She has held various senior management roles in the financial markets with specific skills in treasury management, risk management, corporate finance, and channels management. Mary Muturi is an institutional institutional leader and governance practitioner with 26 years of experience in the development sector, out of which 12 were served in senior management levels, supporting diverse aspects of project management and capacity building. Dorcas Jugunanderitu is a HR director at Outsourced HR Solutions Limited and the founder of Women in HR Kenya. She was voted one of the leaders in Power list of the top 200 biggest voices in leadership to watch for in 2022. Then we have Dr. Wangila Fanny Feather, a passionate leader who strongly champions women empowerment, gender parity, and mentorship, key for societal growth. She is the Director of Gender and Development at the University of Kabianga and Senior Lecturer in Analytical Chemistry. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose, for the introduction. And in the interest of time, I'll just call upon Rose Sang, who is going to moderate the session with our guest speaker. Rose Sang, you're welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and any gentlemen in the house. Thank you, Hannah, for the wonderful work that you have done this afternoon. Mine is a very simple task today to introduce our guest speaker. And just to give a little context, Women on Boards runs a 6-month mentorship program where we take ladies through sessions with our brand ambassadors on board effectiveness. And so earlier this week, we had an opportunity to engage with Dr. Kipngetich, who took us through, the various roles within the board, how we can be able to plug in. And thereafter, we were able to have further intimate conversations with some members who have served in boards. So this afternoon, he plays 2 roles. One addresses the graduates. There's a special message for you, so I won't delve into that, but also an opportunity to move into the phase 2 of the conversation to elicit questions from some of the members who felt that he needed to come back for season 2 and address some of the other challenges that he may not have. So he is no stranger to Women on Boards. He currently serves as the group CEO for Jubilee Insurance Group of Companies, an avid supporter of women initiatives, and certainly one to provoke our minds this afternoon. So karibu sana, Dr. Kipngetich, the platform is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Rose, and thank you, the Women on Boards Secretariat and the board members who are on today. I would also like to welcome the graduates. In a few minutes, you'll have turned your hat and you'll have graduated. So our graduation is a time for celebration. So I'm sure this evening, it's a Friday, the champagne will be corked in various restaurants, various households. There'll be a lot of celebration. It's also a time for reflection. You have to reflect. Once you graduate, you are given the power to read and do all that pertains to whatever you have received. Today, you are getting your diploma. And so therefore, it's a time for reflection and say, if I'm given the power to read, what does it mean to me? It's a challenge to you to then use that knowledge to advance the cause of humanity. It's also a time for expectation. When you graduate, during the celebration, your kids will be there, your spouses, your relatives, your siblings, your friends, and they have certain expectations of you. That, okay, you have acquired this knowledge, you have successfully passed the course, and so therefore, we have certain expectations as a core group of friends and family, but also as a society. Me and you, we have certain expectations of you to make a difference in our society. And so therefore, mine is to say from the outset, congratulations, well done. You've done a good job. I was listening to citations and all of you are great people. And this course is going to definitely make you a greater person, a more influential person, a more impactful person. So well done also for having worked very hard up to this point. You have successfully cleared the course. I'm sure also you have grown as a person. Whatever it was, you are not the same. Usually when you get new knowledge and skills, it makes you grow. And I'm sure most of you have grown, but also in addition, you have grown new networks, new friends. People like me are now your friend. And from the database, I will be, whenever we are looking for women on boards, I will always be asking the secretariat to give me some CVs so that then we can place you in different places. Women are now required in large numbers in boards. Not only is it a constitutional obligation, but it's also a societal obligation to right a wrong which has been done for generations, where women have not taken their place. Ideally, it should be 50-50. We are not here to discriminate against men. We are here to create that gender parity between men and women so that then all of them take their place, so that then we as a society are firing our two engines, men and women, to grow our economies to what we should be. So mine is to say, welcome aboard. You are now a new engine in our economy, ready to serve, ready to fire the economic engines. But we are also in a very difficult point in our history as a planet. The world is at a serious crossroads, and your skills and the knowledge you have acquired in this course will be dearly required. We are in the middle of a pandemic. COVID has really shaken the world. The last 2 years have probably been some of the toughest times since the Second World War. And so therefore, a lot of turmoil has happened in the world, and leadership is required. Who is a leader? A leader is an influencer. And so therefore, looking at your CVs, all of you are great influencers, and you need to play your role in confronting this crisis. We are also in the middle of a technology revolution. So many things are happening in the technology front, from artificial intelligence, from robotics, to blockchains, to cloud computing, name it. There are very interesting developments in the world, and who knows what is coming next. We also are in the middle of a space revolution. You probably have not paid attention, but as we speak, on Christmas Day, the world sent a very interesting telescope called Webb. It is now launched somewhere 1.5 million kilometers from here, and it's to unfold the universe. That is the theme of that telescope. And nobody knows exactly what's going to discover. And the scientists are saying it's powerful enough to then pick images of the Big Bang, which happened 14 billion years ago. So in the next 6 months, it will start sending images. And the whole world is waiting with bated breath what those images will be. Nobody knows what it is. But we have placed a telescope there. It will change our perspective about everything that we have probably known in the world, including religion. So a space revolution is here and nobody knows. So in fact, everybody's crossing their fingers. What could it be? We might actually discover there could be life in atom of one form or another in somewhere. It could be billions of light years away from us. We don't know. For me, I'm excited about it because then it's my chance in my lifetime to probably know that there could be life somewhere else. We are also in the middle of the climate change crisis. We have misused the current planet. So let's see what the telescope tells us, because the current planet has been overexploited, and largely because of bad governance. We have also inequality, serious inequality in the world, and which has created huge economic crisis. And then, of course, if you have been listening to the news this week, we are in the brink of a world war of some sort between the Americans, the Russians, over a tiny country called Ukraine. But we don't know. If they fight, they could use their nuclear arsenal. If they don't fight, then we could just be spared some catastrophe. So the world is finding itself in the middle of something. Similarly, even here at home in Kenya, we are also in the middle of our own crossroads. Most of you know that Kenya is a nice place. I mean, you know, the world loves our tea, the world loves our coffee, our flowers, our wildlife, our athletes. And recently, we discovered oil, but we have not found them in economic quantities to exploit yet, but we never know. But the country is also in the middle of a crisis. And a lot of it has a lot to do with issues of governance. We are food insecure. We have a job crisis. We have endemic corruption, probably one of the highest ever since independence. We have this inequality between the rich and the poor, and a social crisis called tribalism. So Kenya is also having its own challenges. And whenever I teach university students normally, I always begin by saying, where should we have been? If we then had good governance, where should we have been? The country that we always talk about is Singapore, but I'll use it as an example nonetheless, because it's what is used in Vision 2030. In 1963, Singapore was not even a country, it was part of Malaysia. Kenya acquired independence, our per capita income was $440. In Singapore, it was $180. Fast forward to 2021, what has happened? In 2021, our per capita income was $1,250. Singapore was at $68,000. So what really happened in those 60 or so years, call it 58, between Kenya and Singapore? The key and only thing that was the difference was leadership, which exhibited good governance. In Singapore and here in Kenya, we followed a path of bad governance. Given all the turmoil our neighboring countries have gone through, it is strange that we are still at the same level. Uganda, for example, had Idi Amin, and they went through a war. By the time even Museveni came in '86, the country was in ruins. But Uganda's per capita income is around $1,000. Tanzania went through a brutal ujamaa, communism. Per capita income there is also around $1,000. Even in Rwanda, they went through a genocide. The per capita income is $800. How on earth did Kenya then just have a per capita income of $1,250? We have suffered a very brutal bout of bad governance. And that is where you come as you graduate today. Women on Boards is the platform that has given you the knowledge, the skills, and the networks to then come on board so that we can cure this Kenyan problem once and for all. If we cure this Kenyan problem, I assure you, there is no reason why Kenya should not have a per capita income of $10,000 in your lifetime. There is no reason. What is pulling us backwards is bad governance. If you look at a country like Botswana, Botswana is the size of Kenya geographically. 80% of it is Kalahari Desert. But today, Botswana's per capita income is $8,000. What do they have? Diamonds. If Kenya had those diamonds, we would definitely have had a civil war, given the level of low quality bad governance in our country. Botswana per capita income is at $8,000 just because they had good presidents up to today. So when I talk, therefore, that women on boards is about creating a new generation of great leaders, great corporate governors, I mean it. You have been given the knowledge and skills so that then you can go and spread the word out there. We need corporates which can have their place in Kenya and the world. So because corporate governance is at the heart of how we as a society drive our institutions. Whether you're talking about private sector, whether you're talking about NGO world, non-government actors, whether you're talking about even government itself, at the cabinet, at various parastatals, how are they governed? If we do that and we strengthen, we will attract FDI, foreign direct investment will come to solve these problems that I have talked about, the unemployment, the jobs, the inequality, our exports. We can strengthen our shilling if we attract foreign direct investment. The single largest drag against people coming to Kenya to invest is corruption. And corruption then permeates our society, and then a few people benefit and the larger majority are languishing in poverty. So it is very important that we use this platform of women on boards to then strongly advocate that we have a society free of corruption, institutions which are well governed so that then they can attract capital, and within a society which is clean, and then it will flourish. We have the people. Kenya has the best educated Black people in the world. They have the right work ethic, but just at leadership level, we falter, we fail almost completely. So therefore, I'm pleading with you, with your knowledge and skills, that we actually do the right thing for Kenya, and by extension, for our children and all the generations to come. So my advice to you as a way of conclusion is as follows. As you come to this platform and as you take your place in the corporate world, in the government, in the NGO sector, in the various boards that you'll be sitting, one is be authentic, be yourself. I normally see women sometimes come on board and they want to pretend or do something which does not bring out who they are. The essence of you coming to the board is to bring diversity and inclusiveness into the board. Please be diverse, be different. If you are this way, just come that way to the board, because that is a skill and talent that we are looking for. Be authentic, be natural, be yourself. Number two, don't be a man. The purpose of bringing women on board is so that then we don't have more men. No, we have already too many. There's usually the temptation to say, oh, I have to, wear those of the trousers. I'm not saying you don't wear trousers coming to the board, but don't be a man. We are looking for a woman in the board. Women, God has given women different characteristics from men. For example, women are more patient. They reflect more than us men. And that's the trait we are looking for in the board, so that then whenever there's a controversial issue in the board, then women provide that calming effect in the board. So please, don't be a man. We don't want another man in the board. Number three, don't be a prima donna. Prima donna, we are in the board, not a beauty contest. And nobody is looking for, your figure in the board. We are looking for your brain, your knowledge, your skills. Okay. Sometimes I've been to boards where, you know, when the lady walks out, people start saying, hey, what did we bring on board? So you have to know that there are already so many biases against women. Don't amplify those biases. Avoid being a prima donna, be a professional, do things professionally. You know the drill. The etiquette of being in organizations, you have been there, okay? We are looking for your brain and the qualities of a woman that are required in the boardroom. So please express yourself, be authentic, but don't be a prima donna. I hope you understand that pretty well. Number 4 is bring your uniqueness. Okay? Each of us are unique, even the men themselves. Whenever I talk to men when they come to the board and say, be unique, don't copy others, don't try to be like other people, okay? Be unique, okay? If God has given you a talent in engineering, bring that contribution to the board, because that is the uniqueness we are looking for, so that then the board becomes diverse and is looking at all aspects. Number 5 is bring your expertise, okay? Boards are severely challenged, especially if you go to, say, some family businesses. I sit in a few of them, and you can see they sorely miss expertise, okay? So don't feel shy to express your expertise. Even if it's a family business, if they are doing something illegal or wrong, it's good to point to them and say, I am a lawyer. What you are doing is illegal. I am an accountant. That's not how to treat this particular item from an accounting point of view, you know? Or I am an engineer, or I am this. Bring your expertise, display it, okay? When you go to a committee, committees usually are for expertise. Bring that expertise and bring it to bear and exert yourself. Don't feel shy that, oh, you know, they might say I'm a tough woman. As I said, be authentic, be unique, be truthful to whatever board. In that way, you are adding value. You are also bringing in excitement. On Monday, when we had a conversation with some of you, those who were there was a debate on who makes the tea. And I said, no, your job is not to make tea, neither are you there to pray. If there's a prayer, let it be by rotation. Why must it be the ladies or to make tea for the men? In that way, you are sending the signal that actually you are just an appendage to the board rather than a full board member. So therefore, mine is just to say, there's a lot of things that we are going to discuss in this forum in years to come on how we build our own country, Kenya. As you are aware, it has incredible challenges. I hope in time to come, we are going to fix these challenges through our own influence, our own assertiveness, and we create that impact required for Kenya to take its rightful place in the world. Many people, when they come to Nairobi, they look at Kenya and say, this is a country with so much potential. How come you are underperforming? And people, some of the foreign investors ask me, and I tell them, we have bad governance problem. Now, you are the generation that are going to fix that bad governance problem. And it begins, as Wangari Maathai said, with small things. You might say, oh, I'm just a lonely person who may not be able to execute. The answer is no. If you plant one tree, okay, it always increases that capacity for us to fight climate change. And it begins with a single tree, okay? Wangari Maathai talked about the hummingbird, okay? The hummingbird is a very little bird, and when you talk about them, you know, watering a tree, it's like, I have just a few drops, but a few drops every day makes a world of difference. So therefore, my recommendation to you today is all of us can make a difference for Kenya and the world. The Webb telescope will tell us whether there is life somewhere else. But for now, the Earth is the only place so far known to have a life. There is no other one. So therefore, you make your stand here. And young people normally say, YOLO, you only live once. So this is the only place which has life, and God has given you one single life, one. Now let that one single life make a difference. Make a difference at home, make a difference in the workplace, make a difference in your community. And once you make a difference in your community, by extension, you are making a difference in your country and in the world. So I am here to wish you well, to bless you, and just say congratulations. Welcome aboard to the Women's on Board Network, now as a fresh graduate. Asanteni sana, and thank you very much. Back to you, Ros.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Thank you for all those wisdom nuggets that you constantly give us every time we have the conversation. So be authentic, don't be a man, don't be a prima donna, bring your uniqueness and expertise. So basically what you're saying is the fireworks begins today, and each certificate is a lighted match, and each one of us is the fuse. So let's go and be the fuse out there and make a difference. So thank you very much. I see a couple of hands up, a couple of questions that are coming through. And just to follow on, I know you mentioned that you spoke to us earlier this week. There's a question from one of the ladies around board profile. You know, you mentioned that you sit on several boards, and sometimes when you receive the applications, some stand out more than the others. So what are some of these aspects that, you know, stand out for you, so that then as we graduate from this session, we can be able to go and make amendments to those CVs?
Okay, good point. Now, today's world is, because of so many people who have graduated now, largely, the way you write a CV is about what is making you different from the other person. Okay, it's no longer about qualification. Most people who come on boards have a second degree, so it's not a problem. Okay, so don't highlight qualifications, because in most cases it will just be one sentence and we know. Okay, don't highlight about your work experience, especially where you work and how many organizations. You know, that's normally. Highlight what is your value add. Okay, whenever I look at the CV, I'm looking at, if we needed a lawyer and I have 10 CVs of lawyers, I'm looking for what is the unique thing about this lawyer I'm looking for. And it must pop out on page 1 of the CV. So page 1 must pop out. What is that uniqueness about you must pop out in page 1. Now, if you look at many CVs today, page 1 is about qualifications, but that now has become standard. So page qualification should now go to the rear, and what is unique about you comes to the fore. And that's what I'm looking for. Because you see, there's so much information overload on CEOs and boards. People are very busy. So if you don't say your story on page 1, it's gone. So please highlight your uniqueness. What is your unique value proposition on page 1? If I don't see it on page 1, it means it was not important for you. And so therefore, I put the CV aside and say, you are ordinary. Okay, and you go. So bring all those highlights on page 1. CVs generally, these days, should not be more than 2 pages. So don't write a CV, don't give me a CV more than 2 pages, okay? Don't give me a primary school. I know if you have second degrees, I know you went to primary school. Don't give me a secondary school unless you have something unique about that secondary school. Just highlight your last qualification and some of the unique traits that you possess. Okay, like for example, I was listening to the citations of the graduates, And some of them were excellent, some were needs to be rewritten. So it is bringing out in a single, remember most of your citations were 2 paragraphs. How do you bring out who you are in 2 paragraphs? It is what bring that out. So, you know, if you need a course in English, so be it. But that's really the point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, you had it, ladies. 2 pages, and bring out what's unique about you in page 1. Now, this is a season of politics. We have seen people resign, and clearly there are lots of opportunities for us to take up. And in the conversation we had on Monday, the issue around board membership in state corporations or in government for that matter. And one of the things you said is, don't play politics, but don't get kicked out. So how do we balance that with ethical values, responsibilities, and, you know, the fact that here is a presidential, you know, appointment, you know, to this one parastatal that you've always wanted to work. Some thoughts on that?
I think it's the same thoughts I said on Monday, and probably I just re-emphasize. Parastatals are difficult places. They are not easy. They are intertwined with the politics of the country. So if we are in a low quality governance environment, it's reflected in the institutions that are in that country. And Kenya is at that stage now. And so what I would like to do is, 1, don't join the gravy train. You will get punished. Okay, it may not be you, but the question is, how will we know it's not you? And then also your conscience. Okay, history will record that you are in a certain institution which didn't do its job. Okay, and you are a member at that point. So be careful that you might, the fact that it may never be known, also your conscience should be able to guide you. So therefore, if we have a low quality governance environment, try your best to enhance the quality, okay? Even when there's a lot of pressure. Like now, because of elections, there's a lot of pressure to steal, because then people are going for elections. I guess the theft is over because then they have been told to resign. So, but stay the course, okay? If, for example, situations reach a point where it cannot, there's a red line in your life that you cannot cross, where you fight through. But if you reach that point, for heaven's sake, resign, because you don't gain much. I mean, a sitting allowance of 20,000, net of tax around 14, is your life really worth 14,000 shillings to? Or if for example you are the corrupt type, you might tell them the management, let's cut deals, because that's where probably the corruption is perpetuated. So it's very important. Play your role, emphasize good quality governance, let your conscience drive you, don't be corrupt. If we are pushed to be corrupt, by all means resign. That would be my recommendation. We hope in time to come, these institutions will play their role. If parastatals were to do their role as envisaged in the law, Kenya will be a very different place. This corruption thing must be addressed, and be addressed clearly for the sake of posterity. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So 2 other questions. The last time we talked about the different roles in the board, you know, the game changers, you know, the father figures and so on.
Yeah.
Where do we find the balance when you're a radical within the board? You know, sometimes you have institutions that are very, you know, quite laid back, but here you are appointed as a radical. How do you find that balance? And the second question then is, to get some of these board opportunities, you need to network. And one of the things you said is, don't be a man. So what does that mean? Does it mean that, you know, those club activities then cease? Do I need to go out in the evening to, you know, meet gentlemen, you know, who are senior board members, so that I can network? How do we find the balance as ladies, so that then we're not seen as prima donnas, but then also have an opportunity to network within the circles?
Okay, let me begin with that one, Ross, the last one. I have emphasized networking, because that is where you meet people, you know, they interact, because sometimes opportunities for board come suddenly. It's a sudden thing, you know. Somebody resigns in a board, and then in the middle of a board meeting, the chair says, "Can you guys start thinking of CVs?" Okay, that becomes a chance opportunity. So if you had networked with people who also are in boards, then somebody will say, "Oh, I know somebody," and it becomes a connection, a link. So create these links, but don't overdo it. I mean, you have to create quality links. That networking, therefore, you have to invest some time. But like everything else, you have to balance your life. You know, you have family, you have your work, you have your friends. So you have to balance all these things so that then you are able to network, but still attend to your family, still do your job. Okay. So you might want to say, for example, one day in a week, I'll go to my club. Okay. Or you are invited by a friend. So you have dedicated probably 2 or 3 hours of your friend, of your family time invested into connections. So the other days of the week are still available for you to do your other things. So it's how you plan your time. You might think that you don't have the time, but you do. Just calibrate, just check your time, the 24 hours every day, and you will squeeze some time for networking. It could be a golf tournament, it could be an event, okay? Me, myself, I like reaching out to schools. I like talking to young people. Now, these young people, if they like what I say, they are going to tell their parents. And their parents then call me and say, "Oh, yeah, you talk to our children. We'd like you to come to..." That's how I ended up in some family boards, because then they think, okay. Then the other one is speaking opportunities in media houses. Now, media houses, I sit in the board of one, are desperate for good speakers, people to educate the public, you know. And so if you get an opportunity to appear on TV or radio, please, or write an article in a newspaper, please don't miss such an opportunity, okay? So any good writers or storytellers here, get in touch with me. I will link you to the Standard Media Group. So you can appear on KTN. We have a platform, Spice FM, you know, very interesting storytelling. So there are very many platforms, even online ones. So please, networking is part of your duty, part of your job, part of what you have grown up to now. So please do it, create the time. I'm sure most of you, your children now are a little older, they are no longer babies. So they also free you to do other things as they do their things. So networking is a must. Then the issue of the radical in the board. If you are radical by nature, remember what I said earlier on, you have to be authentic. Just be natural, be yourself. If you are radical, so be it, okay? Now, that will be your role in a board. But you have to then be careful which board you enter, because some boards are very conservative. So you might decline such boards and say, "You know me, I'm very radical, and from my assessment, this is a family business. It may not require that radical approach." But listed companies are desperate for radical people, because then we are confronted with all this competitive environment, and we have to change pretty quickly, and we need radical people. So one radical person in a board typically is good enough. If you have 2, it might be excess. 3 is too much, okay? But it is important to be yourself. Boards are looking for radical people. They are looking for radical people who can then change things, excite things, you know, because remember what I said earlier on, the world is going through some crises, pandemics, technology, space exploration, climate change, economic crisis, you know, terrorism and crime, all sorts of things. How do we respond to all these challenges as a corporation? We need some radical thinkers to come up with new products, new processes, new methodologies, new techniques of how to run the business. Eventually, those radical people shift us to a new business model. But it needed somebody to scream until people now hear and say, hey, let's listen. So be natural. If you are radical by nature, don't change yourself. You will always find a board that requires a radical person. And in Kenya today, listed companies are desperate for radical people. Yeah.
Okay. So we have a question here from Anne. It's a follow-up to the one on, board membership in state corporations. So she asks, so how can you as a new board member to a corrupt board situation change the culture to good governance when you choose to resign? So is resignation the solution? And what happens then if you're appointed to 2 or 3 and you keep resigning? Doesn't that reflect badly on you and on your CV as well?
It doesn't reflect badly. It's a plus. By the way, I mean, I resigned from KWS. Many people think I retired. No, I resigned, okay? And it was based on principle differences with the minister at the time. So I reached a point whereby we were not getting along, and I just told him goodbye. I mean, of course, he didn't want me to leave. He was shocked, okay? But I told him, you cross my red line, and that's it. Did that become a negative? No, it's actually a plus. So if you get appointed for a parastatal, and you read the tone of the organization, if it's a corrupt place, please draw the line right from day one, that you are not going to accept this, this, and this. If you draw the line, then people know that so and so, you can't compromise. If they then proceed to do the wrong things, remember, there's no law that allows wrong things to be done. No, there's nothing. Auditors will still come and audit you, okay? And you never know who gets prosecuted. It could be you. The fact that others escape it doesn't mean that you are okay. As I said, those ones are left to your conscience. But the key thing is don't violate the law. And the law does not, criminal law does not expire. It's not like civil law. So if you committed something 10 years ago, you might think because probably the political environment was favorable for you at the time to escape prosecution, it always catches up with you. So the law is the law, and if you commit a crime, it does not expire by time. You will be prosecuted in its own time, okay? So it's very important for you to just say, draw the line. So if, for example, you get a reputation for resigning, so be it, okay? So long as your conscience is clear, you have complied with the law, and what is generally accepted good corporate governance. And if that happens, you are okay. So don't fear. I've been in parastatals, I've been in boards, and I've resigned several times. So don't fear. I could be a good example for you. Thanks.
Good. Don't fear. You can always resign. So I have a question from Carol. She says you have made transition from one sector to another very successfully. I mean, you're in insurance now, you've been in retail, and you have also been able to move from CEO to non-executive director and back to CEO successfully. So what are some of the key lessons that you have learned that you can share with us to enable us transition from one space to another?
Good question. Okay. Steve Jobs, the former CEO of Apple, made a very famous statement. He says, you connect dots backwards. That is, your learnings in previous years are what gives you lessons as you move forward. Now, there's a subject I used to teach at the University of Nairobi and Strathmore. Also, there are some of you from Strathmore and USIU in the 90s. And It is called the gender systems theory. The gender systems theory teaches you that all systems have the same characteristics and they exhibit the same things, whether it doesn't matter, whether the church, an NGO, a government, private sector, all of them are systems and they have the same, they exhibit the same. And so when you even draw diagrams, flowcharts of organizational processes, it's the same, whether you're talking about the Vatican Church, the Vatican itself, the head of the seat of the Catholic Church, and Canterbury, the seat of the Anglican Church. It's the same. Processes are the same. So that's one lesson. So it doesn't matter whether you are at board level, whether you are at top management, whether you are middle management, you are part of an organizational system. And each role must be played to complete the function of the system. So that's what guides me all the time. And then number two, there are 5 principles I always use in any organization that if I apply those 5, then I have a very high chance of success. And I always look at each of those 5 things and try to fix them. They're like a fundi, tightening nuts, 5 nuts in an organization. The first nut I always look at is leadership and governance. I look at the structure of the organization. I make sure that the structure, I feel that with the right people and put in the processes enough to strengthen the controls, okay, and train the people to be good leaders. If you have good leaders in an organization, the chance of success is very high. The second one is people. Now, that is the software of these people. The first one is about structures. The second one is the people, especially the software. The software is largely revolves around motivation and communication. How people are motivated in an organization and how you communicate to them. It's linked with the first one because communication is done by leaders, and then motivation is you create the environment for people to produce at their best. So the people agenda becomes top. And typically when I go to an organization, the first person I usually confront is the head of HR. Usually many people chase the head of finance if you have, and there's a reason why people chase the head of finance first. But for me, I always try to fix HR first. If you fix HR first and you have the right leaders, an organization takes off. Number 3 is the economic engine. How does that organization make money? So I always look at it and say, this organization, how does it make money? And if you understand how that organization makes money, then you just make sure you maximize the top line revenue and you control the costs that support that revenue production. That's an economic engine. So if you go to a bank, you make money by lending. Okay, so you attract deposits, you lend. That's how you make money, the margin. And the costs, the biggest cost is staff costs. Around 50% of the cost in a bank is people. So how do you control staff costs? Use technology as an efficiency multiplier. I went to KWS and I look at the same and asked them, okay, so how do you guys make money? Through the gate collections. How is the gate collection system? When I arrived, 48% of the revenue was stolen. So we started fixing, make sure that then when the money came, we used it to motivate staff. And then productivity went up. So we multiplied the revenue 7 times in 8 years. Just understanding the economic engine. Number 4 is systems and technology. I always say, if you understand the technology that supports that business, then you are multiplying the efficiency of the organization. So anything that's related to technology, understand it, okay? If it is software, if it is hardware, how does it work? And so I'm very curious myself as a person about technology, very, very curious. I've told you about Webb telescope. It was launched on Christmas Day, and I have read so much about it, you would think I'm an expert in space technology. I don't do this to be an expert. I do it so that then I understand the logic of how things work. Then when we sit now with techies, I can frame my question to them. And when I frame my question, they give me the answers I want. And then number 5 is image. I always try to be a brand ambassador of every organization I work for. You might, most of you, all pictures that you probably have seen me, I've always at this level, always, of the organization I work for. How many of you wear it every day? Some food for thought. If you're proud of something, of where you work, wear it. Be proud of it. Wear, some paraphernalia about the organization. So you create that strong brand, because we are in a world of so much information. Brand is a perception. If you create that perception of your organization, you are the brand carrier. And so therefore you are the exemplification of the organization you work for. I hope that helps. Back to you, Ross.
Thank you so much, Daktari. As I say, you never see time flying when you're having a good time. So really want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I know it was short notice, but thank you. Always thank you for being here with us. So for me, it's just to congratulate the graduates and tell them this is a dress rehearsal. Life begins now. The opportunities are available. And if you're not a member of Women on Boards, this is a time to join, because this is just one of our ambassadors. We have another 5 more. So imagine what you're missing out. So thank you, Daktari. Thank you, Catherine and the board, for giving us the space to engage, and a warm congratulations to the graduates. Hannah, back to you.
Thank you so much, Rose. At this point, I'll invite Rose Lumumba for the official graduation. Rose, you're welcome.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Kimgentich. Wow,
You're muted,
I felt
Rose.
like, am I muted?
No, you're okay.
Now you can hear me. Thank you, Daktari. I never tire listening to you. I learned so much, and I'm sure that our graduates today feel like they have really learned a lot, like I have. Those 5 points, wow. I feel like, where have I been? How come you didn't tell me that when I began my career? So thank you so much, Daktari. Daktari is our ambassador at Women on Boards, and he really carries our brand so well. And anytime we call him to come and motivate us in the leadership, or even motivate the graduates we have and other stakeholders, he's always ready. Daktari, you always have time for everything. Thank you very, very much. So now, ladies, today is your great day. Congratulations on your graduation. We are so glad that you took this course. We mean business at Women on Boards. We want to build a culture of leadership that will change the many things that Dr. Kipngetich listed that are going wrong in our nation, and we will spread to other places. The other day, we sponsored the Women on Boards in Liberia and Sierra Leone, and it's going on very well. I can give you that feedback. So congratulations, ladies, as you wear your crown today. I wish we were doing this in person to place the crowns on your head, but congratulations really from Women on Boards, you February 2022 graduates. Please take your candle and go and light the world. The world is in darkness. There are too many dark spots in terms of leadership. So we motivate and we ask you to go out there and light those candles and let the world see that you are a better leader than the many that we are having. We can catch up with Singapore if we mean business and do our work well. Thank you and congratulations. We normally have a very special song that we dedicate to you. Hannah, I don't know whether we got our special song today. I would request you to play it for the graduates as they take this moment of their graduation. And
this world seems so big, and everything seems so out of reach. The sky is high and the walk is wide. You just don't know what you've got yet. It's in the palm of your hands. It's right in front of where you stand. If you believe everything you dream will come true, and if you can love, no matter how you hurt, love will come to you, back to you. This world is yours. At times I know it's gonna be hard when you think you can't go on, but there's a plan for you. Just let your heart follow through. Come on, I promise you can do it all. 'Cause where you fall, you can always start again. Your future's right in front of where you stand. If you believe everything you dream will come true, and if you can love, no matter how you hurt, love will come to you, back to you. This world is yours. Climb a mountain, cross the ocean, sail a river until it opens. Make good friends, listen hard, let it out, and dance. If you believe everything you dream will come true, and if you can see there's nothing that can be too big for you. No, no. If you can see, if you can believe, if you can dream, this world is yours. Yeah. This world is yours.
Congratulations, congratulations, our dear graduates. There is nothing that you cannot do. Nothing. And anytime you get into that deep, dark place, reach out to the higher power. Reach out to God. There are always solutions in this world. Congratulations. Thank you. Hannah.
Thank you, Rose. At this point, we will have one of the graduates, that is Dorcas Lirito, who will make a vote of thanks on behalf of the participants. Dorcas, you're welcome.
Thank you, Hannah. I just want to start by saying thank you to the founders of Women on Board for first creating this opportunity, the board members of Women on Board, the secretariat, the facilitators. It was a great opportunity for us to learn. I believe each one of us who attended the session has something they have to take home, but most importantly, we were able to apply. The board simulation was one great session that no one can forget. And I think I must mention Esther. Hannah, the role she played, and Joyce, our chair, it was outstanding. We felt like we were in a real board, and for us to just come and graduate on the last day, I believe we are ready for it. And just a few words, just to remember what Dr. has said. I, being in HR first, I like the fact that you're saying you fix HR and you get the right leaders, because it's true, the fish rots from the head. If we're able to fix the leaders, then we're able to lead the boards in the right way and with the right governance. I believe with the liabilities and everything we've been taught, we have learned one thing for sure. It is not a joke to be a board member, and we have taken up the lessons and the learnings to be able to apply. Thank you very much, Women on Board. We really appreciate the opportunity you've given us. Really appreciate. Thank you again. Hannah, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dorcas. And we really appreciate having you in our class for the first cohort of 2022. At this point, we had requested to take a photo of the graduates. We'll first of all take a photo of the group, and then we'll do one that will be specific for the participants. Please allow me to, please have your cameras.
I'm saying, Hannah, I hope you will say the 1, 2, 3 smile.
Yes, I will, just a bit. Kindly have your cameras on so that you can take the photo. And let's smile. We still have a few people who are off camera. And now I'm taking the last one. Yes, I'm through. Thank you, Rose. Please proceed.
So thank you. We've come to the end of our program today, the week-long program that started on Monday and has culminated in the graduation today. On behalf of the Women on Boards Network, we want to sincerely thank you for joining the training, where we hope that you have learned some things to go and implement at home. We also take the opportunity to invite you to join the Women on Boards Network. You just caught, a taste of the, tip of the iceberg of what we do at Women on Boards. There are many more services that are provided. Please consider joining and enriching your journey of leadership. I thank the Secretariat, Hannah and her team. As usual, they always go beyond the call of duty in organizing these events. I'm sure they got in touch with each one of you personally. They updated you on the program. They got all the facilitators to be on time. A lot of work went behind the scenes. Thank you, Secretariat. We really, really do appreciate your effort, and well done. Now, I want to give you an update of the things or the events that we have organized at Women on Boards Network, the very soon ones that you may quickly join and enjoy and build your capacity and keep the fire burning from today. Now, first, on the 19th of February, we have a meet and mingle event with one of our members, Mary Wamai. Mary Wamai is a senior leader at the Equity Bank. But she also, importantly, has done a lot of work to support gender parity. So Mary will be coming to have a meet and mingle tea event with us ladies. Please, you can come, contact Hannah and the secretariat. They will tell you the particulars of how the event will be. It's going to be held at the Sarova Pan-Afric on the 19th between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. Please come. The other event that we are having, we have a board profiling and personal positioning workshop in conjunction with our partner TP from Malaysia. He will be telling us on how to truly profile ourselves for the board and our own personal success. That will be on 31st of March to 5th of April. Again, the Secretariat has got all the details of that event. Get in touch with Hannah and you will get all those details. On the 9th of April, 9th of April, we will be celebrating our anniversary. Hannah, again, will give you details, will invite you to it. If you can join us and come and have a cup of tea and meet older members, meet the founders, meet our ambassadors, I think it will be a great event. Remember, Dr. Julius has just talked about networking. That's a good networking time that you can come to and space and meet all those people and build your network. I now take the opportunity to declare you duly graduated and wish you all the best in your leadership journey. And also to tell you that there are lots of new things we are working on at the Women on Boards Network, including a master's class, a further training. Today you did the introduction to corporate governance, but we are working on many other things so that we can keep our members updated and ready to be called to be board members at any one time. Thank you and God bless you. Asante.
Rose,
yes.
Maybe before I drop off, I see Catherine was able to join. I guess she's on the road.
Yes.
I don't know, Miss Catherine, are you able to say hi to us?
Yes, Hannah, thank you very much. First and foremost, to our brand ambassador, I just caught the end of your talk. Thank you so much always for being there for us. But secondly, congratulations again. I echo Rose's words and go out there. This world is yours to conquer, as our song said. And if you dream and believe in your dream, it will come true. So wishing you the very best. We are here to support you anytime you need us. Please reach out to us. This is our calling. This is something that we believe in deeply, and we are there for you. So do have a great weekend and wishing you the very best. Thank you, Hannah and the team. Thank you, Daktari. Thank you, Rose and Rosie. A very good event. Asante sana.
Thank you, Catherine. Catherine is our chairperson. Thank you. So thank you, Hannah. Ladies, congratulations once more, and we can now end the meeting. Over to you, Hannah.
Thank you, Rose, for taking us through so well. And at this point, we come to an end of our graduation ceremony, and we are free to leave. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Thank you, Hannah.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Are we leaving now?
Yes.
I want to stay longer.